What's dangerous is not when evil people do evil things. What's dangerous is when good people stand by and do nothing. Charming fellow by the name of Durianrider has made criminal allegations against me. They're criminal in more ways than one. The message he has posted to the internet is pointedly unclear. It's intentionally vague and never reveals what it is exactly that I'm accused of. But the one thing that is clear is that he seems certain that I should be apprehended and arrested, that I should be brought to the police here in Thailand for whatever it is he's vaguely insinuating that I have done. My email has been public on the internet long before I even had a YouTube channel. If you simply go to Google and type in my name plus email, you've got my email address. It's been public back when I was publishing articles, back when I was writing a blog. I've been a kind of public intellectual for many years now. And I've been getting fan mail for many years now. Back when I was a scholar of Theravada Buddhism, back when I wrote about politics of China, Cambodia, Thailand, Laos, I've always gotten fan mail, partly because my name and my email address are on the internet for anyone to get in touch with me. And over the years, many interesting people have gotten in touch with me. And, sometimes an email leads to a Skype conversation. Sometimes it leads to a face-to-face interview. I remember a journalist for a very famous newspaper, for Le Monde. Le Monde is one of the most famous newspapers in France, and it's somewhere on the list of the most famous newspapers in the world. I remember a journalist from Le Monde, just by reading the articles I had on the internet, got my email, got in touch with me, and interviewed me in Cambodia when he flew to Cambodia to cover some other news stories. It is what it is. But the implicit absurdity here in these allegations from Durianrider is that he's stating that he needs to find out where I am, that he's asking his followers to track me down, to be relatively nonviolent. Well, a Google search is about as nonviolent as it gets, Durianrider. You can put my name into Google and talk to me in 5 minutes. Again, by email, by Skype, or whatever. You know where I am. You know how to talk to me. And you always have. So the pretense that this is anything other than a threat of violence is paper thin. So I'm going to read this out. And I mean, the nature of the allegations here is so absurd that it's difficult to believe anyone could take it seriously, especially in the context of Durianrider himself having made allegations of this kind again and again to denounce various people. So he has a track record of such allegations, sometimes attached to threats of violence, sometimes not. And I'm in the small number of people who've been on the internet talking about the implications of that. Because I've always been saying, look, this is dangerous. If you think it's not dangerous, if you think this isn't something you have to speak out on or, prevent from getting worse, take a look at the history of the Western world. Again, my own background is heavily involved with political history, etc. I have a different perspective on these things than the average vegan. Vegans have all kinds of backgrounds. I've been talking to vegans who are scientists, and I remember I've met some vegans who, didn't even complete their high school education. I've met vegans who are high school dropouts who got very humble jobs in life. And I've met vegans who are farmers, who came up in the... Vegans come from all walks of life. Not everyone has a diploma in political science. Not everyone has the kind of background I do. And what I do on the internet is making the type of unique contribution that I can offer. I don't sing. I don't dance. I think it's great that other people sing and dance, and their contribution to the discourse on veganism is through singing and dancing. That's fine. That's not what I'm going to do. But what I do, basically, is talking about politics, including the politics of veganism, the question of how we get organized and make a difference in the world. And I don't know. At bottom, it's pretty sad that Durianrider can't see some good in that. And given these slogans that are kicked around about, save the planet, save the world, I think it's worth asking yourself again and again and again, how different would this whole situation be? How different would our behavior be? His, mine, everyone in the crowd jumping on this controversy. How differently would we be acting if this were really about saving the world? So I will read this out. Durianrider says, quote, "I can't confirm 100% yet if this is true, but this POS is allegedly in Chiang Mai and asking teenage girls for money. And I assume probably sex, etc. Let's plot." So this is never returned to in the message. The fantasy of his here, I guess, is that teenage girls are paying me for my advice that they should stay in school and get a straight job. I love the fact that he leads with that allegation. You know what I mean? Like, let's start with the strong suit. He's been asking teenage girls for money. What? Now, I mean, some people watching this have never seen my channel before. Some of you have already seen my videos. There are videos on this channel of me having conversations with younger women. There's an excellent podcast. It's both a video and available as an MP3. It's a discussion I had with Zaria. And Zaria has her own YouTube channel. I think she's about 23 years old. She's a much younger woman. There's nothing sexy about that conversation. We talk for over an hour. It's a very deep conversation about veganism, about activism, and about emotional aspects of being vegan in the modern Western world. We talk about, her relationship with her own parents, how being vegan messed up their family. And then I talk about my relationship with my parents and being vegan in my family. And, Zaria, she has experience with the pig save movement. So she's done the type of protest where they witness the pigs being slaughtered and they at least hear it and so on, standing in front of the slaughterhouse. It's deep and it's meaningful and it's real. I suggest all you guys see that video. It's a great example of how I talk to younger women. I have another video here. It's very long, talking to an 18-year-old who's in Canada. I'm Canadian. And she's only 18. She became vegan recently, and she was wanting to talk to me about how to get organized, how to get involved with vegan activism, how to organize some kind of meaningful, intervention in her community. You can watch that video. There's nothing sexy about it. There's no chemistry on camera. There's no spark between us. There's no flirtation. But there's a lot of real content. I mean, those two videos alone, in those two videos, there is more positive content than most vegans have on their whole channel. And more meaningful content. And I'm not saying this to insult you guys, but some channels, the whole thing is taken up with just food, recipes, what I ate today. Fine. I'm happy for you guys. Everyone, different flavors. Everybody gets to do their own thing on the internet, and that's cool. But I'm doing my thing. And you guys can take a look and decide for yourself if you appreciate it. Because that's the contribution I have to make. Fundamentally is talking about politics. Since I arrived here in Chiang Mai, the only female I've talked to who's not a teenager anymore is Leah. And Leah has also been interviewed on this channel. You can watch the interview I did with her. It's here on YouTube. Again, nothing sexy, no flirtation, no spark there. But I did meet and talk with Leah, and I've met and talked with other vegans here who were eager to talk to me. They knew I was here. They were fans of my channel. And we had long conversations about, you guessed it, vegan politics, getting organized for social change. How do we actually make a positive difference in the world in terms of ecology, veganism, all the other things gathered under this heading. Vivisection, animal cruelty, animal rights, all these related topics. So I've been spending hours and hours having productive conversations with people who actually want to cooperate with me to make the world a better place. How would Durianrider be conducting himself in this conversation if he were actually trying to make the world a better place? We continue. Is he another Jack Francis? ? I'm not sure yet, but after learning from last year, we are not going to be fucking around this time. Both guys are good talkers and highly manipulative. How would you know, Durianrider? How would you know? What could this possibly be based on? Am I a good talker? I don't know. I mean, I would think normally Durianrider would be slamming me because I have so few followers. maybe I'm not a good talker. Maybe if I were a good talker, I'd have 1 million fans on the internet. In terms of being highly manipulative, I don't know. I mean, give me one example of my manipulating anybody into doing anything. And one of the things I'm infamous for was that, this other YouTuber, Vegan Cheetah, he thanks me because I inspired him to go back to school, to go back to university. Some people call that manipulation. Like I manipulated him into wanting to have a straight job and going back to university and advance his career. Okay. Well, what's the actual allegation here? What kind of manipulation am I engaging in? And it's interesting because actually my channel, I have a lot of reflections about how awful university is. But still, I get fan mail from all sorts of people telling me that I inspired them to work harder, go back to school, etc. So this also shows how easily people will take inspiration in different directions. I got love for all you guys. I'm still not cynical about the vegan movement. Maybe I'll come back to that later in this video. I've been talking to a lot of videos lately. I've been talking to a lot of vegans lately who have lost faith in veganism itself after spending time here in Chiang Mai because they meet other vegans and they think this is hopeless. They think this group of people are never going to get organized to make the world a better place. But I don't feel that way. I still got love for you guys. I still got optimism. And, I have other experience, other forms of political organization. I've seen other movements come and go, compared to the Green Party, compared to other movements for ecology, compared to other political parties, mainstream political parties, compared to my experience with Buddhism, with Theravada Buddhism for so many years. Vegans in 2016, not that bad. I still got hope for the future. I still got love for you. All right. So he says, this shill has a YouTube channel and provides a link. Thanks for the promotion, Durianrider. I mean, look, the other irony here is the only reason I'm able to read this is that I have so many fans who are inside Durianrider's Facebook group. This is his special Facebook group for people participating in the festival. But several different people in that group wrote to me right away, and between them, they've confirmed that this is authentic. I mean, I'm presuming that this is authentic and not a fake, but several different people independently confirmed that they got this straight from Durianrider in his Facebook group. It's quite possible to be a fan of both me and Durianrider. There are people who are fans of my channel and who also like riding bicycles. And I say, hey, more power to you. But anyway, I'm sure I'll get some more followers thanks to this endorsement from Durianrider. Because you can call me a shill, but a lot of people are going to click on that link, take a look at the channel, and think, there's some real substance here. He claims to be a vegan, yet most of his videos are bashing other vegans. Again, anybody can take a look, man. Look at the list of videos. I've got over 200 videos. Do you want to say most of my videos are about the politics and history of China? I have a couple. Videos on, politics of Asia, politics of Cambodia. I cover quite a variety of topics. But in terms of the number of hours, I have a lot of very positive content about veganism, community organization, effective activism. What is effective activism? When you talk about bashing other vegans, I have several critiques of Direct Action Everywhere, which are great. I still stand by those. I encourage people to watch them. They're not bashing. They're asking the questions of, is this effective activism? Like when Direct Action Everywhere walk into a restaurant, hold up a sign and scream at a bunch of strangers, what are the real outcomes? Should we be endorsing this as vegans or not? Thoughtful, meaningful videos. And yeah, there's criticism involved. There's critique. But, that's what I got to give, people. Like I say, not everyone has a diploma in political science. Not everyone has worked specifically on the politics of Asia. Not everyone has worked on the languages of Asia. How many white boys are there who are vegans in Chiang Mai who speak Thai? I'd love it if there were a whole bunch of you guys who speak Thai a lot better than I do. I mean, last night I met up with Jake Eames, and I haggled for the price of a durian for him. I had a kind of funny conversation with the durian vendor, and I was asking different questions and so on. So Jake got to see me speaking Thai, and he got to see that experience. But I don't claim to be fluent in the language. And I mean, I speak Thai with a heavy Laotian accent, to say the least, because I lived in Laos for 2.5 years. But I've got a real meaningful engagement to this region, its language, its histories, and politics. I got something to offer. And like I say, I don't sing or dance, but I got something positive to bring to this community, and I done brung it. All right, so he continues to say, if you see him in town or know what hotel or apartment number he is staying in, please tell me. You can remain anon, of course. So that sentence alone is already a threat, because he's saying he is going to show up at my door, right? It's not just hotel, it's apartment number, right? So the insinuation is that Durianrider and his posse are going to come to my door and confront me in my bedroom, all right? Look, I'm not a tough guy, but I'm tougher than these guys, okay? Naturally, if 5 guys jump me, I'm not going to win the fight. If it's 5-on-1, that's not what I'm saying. Nobody's invincible. Nobody's Superman. Nobody's trying to be a hero out here. But let me tell you, I've really suffered in my life. I've really had people to kill me. Sorry, slight slip up there. I've had people threaten to kill me when it was a real threat and when they were in a position to kill me. And I've defended myself in life and death situations a couple times. Not that much. Doesn't come up that much. When your life is devoted to, studying books in obscure languages and history. It doesn't come up that much, but it happens. And look, guys, you can beat me up, but you can't take my dignity. If you beat me up, you're still wrong, and I'm still right. It doesn't change a goddamn thing. And you guys get to wake up and ask yourselves in the morning why you beat up someone who was a sincere vegan talking about activism and how to make the world a better place on YouTube, instead of beating up the owner of Monsanto or the owner of a slaughterhouse or, some local beef farmer or something. Now, I don't endorse any of that. I'm one of the only guys who's come out with a 100% anti-violence message here on YouTube. And I have videos discussing that in contrast to Gary Yourofsky and in contrast to anarchism, where I say, look, I'm not an anarchist and I don't agree with you. I believe in democracy, and I think we should use democratic, nonviolent means. But these guys, if you want to use violence, against me? You think I'm your enemy? You think I'm the guy you should cross the line for? Really? A sincere vegan talking about organizing? You can take my life, but you cannot take my dignity. And of anybody here, I'm not afraid to go to jail. I'm not afraid to go to jail in Thailand. And for me to go to jail when I know I'm innocent, when I know I haven't committed any crime, man, it'd be like a vacation. I would only enjoy it. And I'd come out of that jail speaking 3 languages. But Durianrider's trying to say, he's not trying to send me an email. He's not trying to talk to me on the phone or by Skype. No. He's trying to find me. He wants to know my apartment number so he can come to my door. All right, homeboy. All right. Oh, we're all terribly impressed. Durianrider. He's a big man. I hear he's about 6'1". I'm about 6'3". There are a lot of boxing rings, here in Chiang Mai. Kickboxing, but, Western boxing also. If Durianrider actually wanted to have, like, a charity boxing match with me, with the gloves on, a controlled environment, he could have reserved a room. We can have a square dance. There's a slang word you don't hear from Australians. We can have a square dance. No problem. We're the same age and we're about the same height. And you can look me up, Durianrider. But that's not what he wants. He wants to motivate his goons to supposedly find out my hotel room or my apartment number, right? So what? You think he's going to show up in the hallway and start? You think so? Maybe. Better come on your A game. He's putting himself and his followers in a position where there's no way for them to win. If you're going to threaten me this way, for one thing, you're wrong. You're morally wrong because you made the threat. Now, if you don't back up the threat, you're doubly wrong. But if you do back up the threat, you're triply wrong. You're wrong no matter what. You just make yourself look worse and sound worse. It only gets worse from here for you. These are, more broadly, these are reasons why political activists should not get themselves involved in threats of violence or violence of any kind. Like I say, man, go to City Hall, learn how democracy works, learn how to make social change in your society through nonviolent methods, get organized, Don't send goons to somebody's hotel room. This is not the way to pursue social change. Not even when vegans are facing off with, slaughterhouse corporations or vivisection labs. But it's certainly not the way vegans should be facing off with other vegans. All right? And that's what this is about. All right, so Durianrider continues. I know some of the guys have spoken to me about him and want to confront him. But until we can confirm anything, let's keep it relatively nonviolent. If he has broken any rules, we will citizens arrest him and hand him over to the Thai police. Do you think they have even one person who can speak the Thai language well enough? Citizens arrest. What movie were you watching in which citizens arrest exists in Thailand? Is that how you think the law works here? Is that what you think? You think you aren't committing a crime if in Thailand you assault me, abduct me, and drag me to a police station, and then you try to explain in the Thai language why you did that? You've been watching maybe some American movies from the 1950s or something with this idea of citizen's arrest. Even in the United States, the reality of citizen's arrest is very, very narrowly defined to avoid vigilantism, to avoid violence. But it's never stated what crime I'm guilty of. It's vaguely stated that I'm making money from talking to teenage girls. It's not, what's the basis for the collection? I don't know. What are they paying me for? I mean, do I make designer shoes? What's the claim? But it's not even stated that there's anything criminal in that. It's just an allegation that that somehow I'm making money out of that. All right. Sounds good, Durianrider. Very convincing. Very convincing case you set out here for your fans. I'm sure you would be just as convincing in a Thai court of law. I'm sure you and me would have a great night in a Thai prison together. You and me, Durianrider, if we're spending some time in the same prison, who do you think would do better? Jesus. You think you're a tough guy. There's more than one kind of tough, It's more than one kind of tough. I know real sorrow. I know real suffering in my life. When my life fell apart in Cambodia, what hurt me was that I wouldn't be able to achieve the humanitarian goals I was pursuing, trying to make a positive difference in Cambodia, was that I wouldn't be able to perceive the scholarly goals I was pursuing in terms of the study of the languages, the literature, history and politics, etc. There were positive things I wanted to do in the world that I knew I now couldn't do, But what did I do? I was tough. But I wasn't stupid. I didn't freak out. I didn't start a fight. I decided to move back to Canada, where I hadn't lived for so many years. I moved to Saskatchewan, a part of Canada I'd never lived in, and I tried to start a new career, working on humanitarian issues, historical issues, political issues, and language issues, language politics, for First Nations people, Indigenous people, the Native people of Canada. That's tough. That's toughness of a very different kind from trying to start a street fight or trying to go to someone's hotel room and beat them up. It is, And if you don't appreciate it, that's fine. But that's what I've got to give. That's the perspective I bring to this. That's different from anyone else on YouTube. I don't know, Durianrider, why aren't you trying to help the Aboriginal people of Australia? Why aren't you trying to help the tribal Indigenous people here in northern Thailand? I've done a lot of research on those people. I have done some humanitarian work for those people. Northern Thailand, northern Laos. I know a lot about it, historically and currently. You could help people, Durianrider, and you choose not to. You choose to do this. See me when you see me. You know my email. So he says, I know some of the guys have spoken to him and want to confront him, but until we can confirm anything, let's keep it relatively nonviolent. If he has broken any rules, we will citizens arrest him and hold him and hand him over to the Thai police. If they don't do anything, then yes, we can serve justice to the amount we feel is fair. more than one threat of violence there, including the great use of the term relatively nonviolent. We have a large number. Now, this is the part that really should be insulting to you in my audience. Because, I've mentioned at the start of this video, I do talk to a lot of vegan women of all ages, 18 to 58 or something. And this is actually insulting to you guys, to the women of all ages in this movement. Here is what he says. We have a large number of very trusting young women in our community, and we want to set a loud example that predators would do better avoiding our groups at all times. If they want to prey, then we will prey on them harder and faster. That's what he says here. We have a large number of trusting young women. That's how he characterizes women and the vegan movement. I would never say that. I would never portray the women of this movement as a bunch of dumb, mindless, guileless victims. I think the one thing vegan women have in common is exactly that they're alert, they're morally uncompromising, they're prepared to make tremendous sacrifice to do the right thing because they know it's right. Most vegan women know what it's like to stand up to their own father, to stand up to their own mother, and say, no, what you're doing is wrong. I think vegan women have it harder than vegan men because the expectation is on them to cook meals or to just be polite or mousy or be silent, when the rest of the family is eating turkey, to not make a fuss, to just eat what everyone else is eating. I think, in terms of the way women treat other women, I think they have it harder than we do, men, in terms of how they get pushed around and intimidated. I think vegan women have to be tough, and I think they are tough. And I think we have a lot of smart, hard-nosed women in this movement. And I think they're going to save the world. You tell me, there's so much talk about save the planet, so much hype. What would any of us be doing right now in Chiang Mai, Thailand, if we were sincerely motivated to save the planet?